we're going to have the privilege and the honor right now of having Carol's three boys, Joshua, Josiah, and Caleb Thiesen, come and give the eulogy.
All right. Well, thank you guys. We're just blown away by how many people are here, really. And we get the great privilege right now of bragging about our dad. And like these last 3 weeks have been, there's going to be some laughter in this. There's going to be probably some tears, and you'll see probably 3 bearded men shed a tear or two. We've loved this. We've loved being able to reflect back on my dad's life and look through and go, man, God, we couldn't have asked for a better dad. And my mom could not have asked for a better husband. It's mixed emotions. Gerald Clyde Thiesen was born December 9th, 1953 in Curitiba, Brazil, to Erven and Lorene Thiesen. He was the second child following Robert, who was already 2 years old. During most of his growing up years, his parents served as missionaries in Brazil at the Mennonite Brethren orphanage, Lar das Crianças. He was doted on by all and treated as one of the kids. He loved to tell people, I had 72 brothers and sisters, and then see the shocked look on their face as they would say, I would like to see your mother. Vitor, an older boy at the orphanage, allowed Gerry to help him plow the field by placing him on top of the horse. It was at that moment that Gerry forever fell in love with horses. When Gerry was 4 years old, while on furlough with his family in Reedley, California, he looked out a window and said, Mommy, the angel outside the window said I would have a baby sister. Shortly after that, his sister Elaine was born in 1958. When the Thiesens returned to Brazil, Gerry went to the Brazilian school in the morning with the children from the orphanage, and in the afternoon, his mother taught both him and his older brother, Bob, correspondence courses in English. He was very active in all his endeavors, even to the point of breaking his collarbone twice, once because of a moth over a commode, and soon after because of an animal underneath the house. Despite setbacks like this, he would always jump at any chance he got to get out and continue riding horses. In 1964, when Gerry was 10, the Thiesens were asked to return to Reedley, California for an extended furlough. Gerry had a paper route that kept him busy after school and on Sunday mornings, while his parents were at dinner table being interviewed by the Mennonite Brethren mission's president about returning to Brazil. Gerry shared all about the movies he and his brother had seen, which resulted in a swift kick under the table from his mother, and Gerry blurting out, Mom, why did you kick me? He even had one attempt to run away, only to get caught by the police at their church with a backpack full of ketchup. In 1967, when he was 13, Gerry returned to Brazil, the Thiesens returned to Brazil on loan to the Missionary Information Bureau in São Paulo. There, Gerry attended Pan American Christian Academy, where he was the cause of much laughter and competition. This competitive nature served him well, as he excelled in sports as well as craftiness. 3 years later, the Thiesens returned to Reedley, California, where Gerry helped his dad care for their 40-acre raisin farm and took care of the Heartland Christian Camp horses during the winter. He loved training those horses, as well as teaching his sister his cowboy ways. Elaine knew no matter how spunky the horse, Gerry would keep her safe.
At age 16, Gerry met the love of his life in his best friend, Carol Grace Buller, the daughter of Herman and Ann Buller, missionaries to Uruguay and Colombia. They got to know each other on horseback and began dating in the spring of their junior year in high school. He then attended and graduated from Immanuel High School in 1972. Later that year, Gerry helped his Uncle Wesley weld his trailer so that a VW would carry Bob's motorcycle as well as all their belongings to LeTourneau College. There, Gerry played soccer with his brother at his side and pursued his dream of aviation. In spring of his final semester of college, he traveled to California to propose to his little lady by asking, will you spend the rest of your life with me? He got his pilot's license as well as a degree in aviation technology in 1976. He kept Carol waiting to plan a wedding until he could pay cash for a brand new van, on which he emblazoned, "To God be the glory." Gerry and Carol Thiesen were married on September 18th, 1976 in Dinuba, California. Gerry spent his first 3 years of their marriage working at Glamour Pools in Longview, Texas. During this time, Gerry continued his flight training with the intention of becoming a missionary bush pilot to remote tribes of South America. God had different plans for them, and in 1979, when he was 25, he and Carol packed up and moved to Fresno, California. Upon arriving in Fresno, they found a spiritual home at Valley Christian Center. Throughout the years, they enjoyed the rich teachings and leadership, as well as pouring back into the many people around them. They could scarcely go a moment without volunteering in the children's church, youth group, and marriage ministry. Gerry and Carol purchased a Conklin franchise, and while working on getting his roofing contractor's license, he sold Conklin engine oils from the back of their van. They founded GNC Enterprises in 1980 and expanded into commercial roofing. They have achieved Conklin's Master Contractor status every year for the last 20 years. For Gerry, it did not matter if the job was a mobile home or a 7-acre warehouse. He always made sure the job was done right and with integrity. He would often hire from the Moreau home, a local rehabilitation house, because he never stopped believing in people and God's ability to redeem. In 1981, their first son, Joshua Paul, was born. In 1982, when Gerry was 28, he and a handful of other roofing contractors created a system that would seal metal roofs, solving a huge problem for commercial buildings up and down the West Coast.
In 1984, his second son, Josiah Michael, was born, followed by Caleb Daniel in 1987. Yeah, why do you get more Oz? Gerry raised his 3 boys to be men of faith and integrity. He made a commitment to being involved in their lives, whether that meant coaching soccer, breaking in horses, backpacking, helping with science projects, or going out to coffee. Gerry had a passion for missions and took great delight in seeing his sons travel to more countries than he had ever dreamed of going to. In November of 1994, when he was 40, he and Carol purchased 7.33 acres at the edge of the foothills. His dream had always been to have a sanctuary for his friends and family to gather. The addition of horses, a warehouse, office, and a home for his in-laws, Herman and Ann Buller, has allowed his dream to continue to grow. Gerry loved entertaining hundreds at a time for church events and business functions, but just the same, he enjoyed mentoring youth individually as they would come out for a day of work on the ranch. It is this dream that that has inspired him to name this earthly paradise New Horizons. In January of 2001, Gerry was hired by the largest roofing company in the nation to develop a division to seal metal roofs. But as an entrepreneur at heart, he only lasted 10 months in the corporate world. Gerry returned to run GNC Enterprises the following November, focusing much of his time on pursuing his dream of being able to train contractors, not only in giving the customers options to choose for themselves, but being able to install the roofs with the integrity his company was known for. Gerry was always eager to share what he learned and developed. TrueBid bidding software leveraged his over 30 years of experience as a roofing contractor. His continued love for family, friends, and the great outdoors led to many trips hauling horses into the Sierra Nevadas with the people he loved. It's when he was there that Gerry would pause when beginning to say, "I'd rather be flying," look around at God's creation and realize that he was actually exactly where he wanted to be. Gerry is an example of how a husband truly can love his wife as Christ loves the church. He and Carol had been able to share with countless couples on how to walk in love and walk with Christ. Not only did they minister together, they worked together, thrived together, and dreamt together. Gerald Clyde Thiesen went to be with his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, on March 8th, 2013. He is survived by his wife of 36 years, Carol, his 3 sons, Joshua, Josiah, and Caleb. Also behind is his mother, Lorene Thiesen, his oldest brother, Robert Thiesen, his younger sister, Elaine Mings. They stand knowing that God is not done, and the dreams God instilled in him have yet to be accomplished.